Welcome back everyone, Ryan Monetize here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the cost of living in Puerto Rico. So just to give you some background, specifically I live in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I have been here for 4 years. So what I'm going to be doing today is basically sharing with you what my current expenses are on a monthly basis, and then I'm also going to be giving you some estimates of other people's situations. So I am a single individual here in Puerto Rico. I did not come with a significant other. I did not come with children. So this is just a single person in their late 20s and the cost to live in specifically San Juan, Puerto Rico. So I'll be sharing like what my expenses have been in the past, how they have currently changed recently. Obviously we know with inflation and the crazy things that are going on when it comes to the price of rentals, not just in Puerto Rico, but all around the United States and possibly the world. So I'm going to be getting into everything, giving you all the details on exactly my personal cost of living in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So let's go ahead and start with rent. So my monthly rent is $1,000 a month. The entire rent for my entire house is $1,500. I pay $1,000 because I have the master bedroom and I also have a spare bedroom that I use as an office. I understand that I might have the best deal in San Juan. I love my place. It's awesome. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath space, and I would say it's maybe 1,400 square feet approximately. That's just kind of an estimate. And I live a block from the beach. I live on the first floor. I have plenty of parking. I could park nearly 4 cars in my parking spaces. And it's all renovated. It's all updated. I have a washer and dryer inside my unit. I know that I have a sweet deal. Just to kind of give you an idea, when I first came here my first year, I paid $850 for a studio that was in a high-rise condo, and that was on the beach. It wasn't updated at all, but it wasn't like terribly outdated. It was kind of like somewhere in the middle, and it was not furnished. And the current space that I have is also not furnished. But when it comes to the Condado, Ocean Park, Isla Verde area, I would say for most people, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath is going to set you somewhere in between $2,500 to $5,000, depending on the location, the amenities, the building, and all those sort of things. So that's just to give you an idea there. I know that I have a super, super sweet deal. A couple years ago, I was splitting $900 a month for, once again, an unfurnished place that had 1 bathroom and 3.5 bedrooms. It was not in a gated area. It was definitely outdated, but at least pretty darn clean. So it's hard to find good spaces in Puerto Rico. I'm fortunate with what I pay for mine. I know people in Dorado Beach are paying $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month. I have no interest in paying really high rent. Finding cheap rent is something that I've always been very committed to. I signed for my place about a year ago, so I got that price at a year ago, and it has remained the same since. I hope to stay there for a long period of time because I really, really like the place. So my maintenance on the building is $0, but if you're someone that's going to buy a place in Puerto Rico, your maintenance is going to be decently high when you think if you're living by the ocean, all the wear and tear that it takes on the exterior of a home. So I love renting because that comes with $0 when it comes to maintenance. One thing that's different when it comes to Puerto Rico and signing most leases is that they're going to put in there that you're going to owe the first $150, $250, $500 in a repair on any particular appliance or something like that. I'm really fortunate that my particular landlord has someone on site that is almost always repairing other units as well. So if something happens, I kind of have that really nice option there, which is cool, something that I really appreciate. But I must say that finding a good place is hard, and finding a really good landlord is even harder. I feel so blessed and fortunate with my current landlord situation because he's just easygoing, not greedy, and extremely understandable. So I thought my electricity in this building was going to be way more than it is. So I would say the average monthly cost for electricity is about $90. It varies. I think I've seen 60 as much as like 140. 140 is going to be your summertime where it's extremely hot. And because I split that 50-50, the average is $90, I pay about $45 a month for electricity. I've heard about people having really terrible electrical bills that are like thousands of dollars. I've never experienced that in Puerto Rico. My bills for the places that I've lived in have always averaged about $100 a month for electricity. So some of my appliances are for example, I have a gas stove, my dryer's gas. So I would say we average, this is kind of a high average, $40 a month in propane. So I'm paying half of that. I am paying $20 a month for propane. The most consistent utility bill that I currently have is my water bill, which is always $50. I've lived in places where the water bill fluctuates. I've lived in places where the water bill stays the same. Nothing is ever like consistent or makes sense to Puerto Rico, and that's just how it is here. And so one thing that is consistent is that my water bill is always $50, so I split that and I pay $25. So if it hasn't made sense yet, yes, I do have a roommate. So one thing that's really awesome about Puerto Rico is the internet. The internet is super solid. Fiber optics is amazing. Over Wi-Fi, my upload download speed is about 500. Okay, I have never been able to anywhere else that I've lived have amazing internet like that. So my internet bill is $70 a month, so I get to split that. So I'm currently paying $35 a month when it comes to my internet expense with fiber optics. Car insurance. So in Puerto Rico, you can basically just forgo your regular insurance and get basically the minimum insurance when you register your car, which is going to be $100. So that's just like the basic minimum every single person has that when it comes to owning a car in Puerto Rico. You can go ahead and go above and beyond that and get your regular insurance that's going to cover beyond that. And so I'm spending about $100 a month when it comes to insurance for a Jeep Wrangler. Technically, my business covers that because it's part of my car rental business. And quick shout out, if you're in Puerto Rico and you want to rent a car, go ahead and check out Puerto Rico Wheels. I'll go to put a link down below. Just send us your dates and we will get you a quote. You will spend not like the other place, you'll be spending like 2 hours in line waiting for a car. So I just wanted to include that because car insurance is about the same of what you would expect to pay in the States. For a Jeep Wrangler, $100 a month is what I'm paying. And then your car maintenance is pretty much just what your maintenance is going to be anywhere else. Finding a good mechanic is key in Puerto Rico. You obviously, in some cases, want to try to avoid the car dealership service centers because that can get a little bit ridiculous and you just kind of want your like local trustworthy mechanic. So when it comes to car maintenance, I anticipate paying about $50 a month. So gas is obviously the most expensive that it's ever been. I'll never forget during the pandemic, it was 40 cents a liter to put gas in my car. And so gas is now about $1.25 a liter. So it has 3x'd since during the pandemic. And so I don't have to drive to work every day. My driving really just includes like visiting people, socializing, going to the grocery store, and road trips. So I average to spend about $120 a month when it comes to gas. And so to convert liters to gallons, that would basically, so $1.25 for a liter takes approximately 4 liters for 1 gallon, so multiply that times 4. And you are looking at about $5 a gallon. That is about the current gas price here in Puerto Rico. It might vary obviously throughout the island. I don't know if it's cheaper like in other areas of the island. I haven't really left San Juan a ton lately during like all this crazy gas prices, but that is the situation there. There are tolls in Puerto Rico. So some tolls are as low as 75 cents. And I think I've seen one toll, I think the most expensive one is the one to get to the mall. It's like $3.50. So I would anticipate that I spend about $20 a month when it comes to tolls, and that's because I'm just, unless I'm like getting way out of San Juan. But if I'm going to the grocery store, anything like super local, I'm never really getting on a toll booth. But just make sure that your toll account is always up and paid for, because if you go through the tolls and you don't have any money in your account, or the number's wrong, or you have 2 stickers on your car, you're gonna get charged an additional $15. One time I got $3,500 in toll fees because there was 2 stickers on the car, and I had an automatic payment, but I had no idea what was happening. So make sure if you like buy a used car that you take off the old sticker and then add a new one, because yeah, you don't want to be in that $3,500 situation like I was. So I spend $130 a month when it comes to health insurance as SSS Saloon. So basically, depending on your age, as well as what category you are getting when it comes to like the different plans that they offer. I've never really used it because going to the doctor here is like a complete nightmare. Like you want to like never go to the doctor basically because they like don't take appointments. It's going to be a whole day event. You're probably going to wait for 4 hours before getting seen. They're probably going to tell you to sleep on the floor. Like they're not going to make you an appointment if you need some sort of a MRI or any scan like that. It's bad. If anyone needs anything serious, they typically go off the island. Triple S is like probably not the best. People have Prevon, which I think is about $350 a month, which is like probably better care. But for me personally, I'm just kind of like a hippie, and I'm like, my body was designed to heal itself. One day that might bite me in the butt, but for now I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to really, I'm just going to try to avoid the medical system as much as possible. Groceries here. So the cost of food is pretty high. You know, I've seen a Hass avocado for like one Hass avocado for like $6 or $7 at the grocery store. If you want organic head of cauliflower, it's going to cost you about $10. And so food can be really expensive here. If you want the best prices, you're going to want to look for like local vendors or Costco. And it's really hard to find specific things. So I estimate that my groceries are about $200 a month. And when it comes to eating out, my meals are $300 a month. So I'm someone that I like to get my drinks when I go out. Like I'm not just going to get a meal, I'm going to also get drinks. So I like to treat myself. That does fluctuate a lot, but lately I have been a little bit more well behaved, so it's more in the $300 range. But last summer, I mean, I think I was some months spending like $1,000 going out, and that's just because I would just not really care, and it was the bull market, the bull run, and I was feeling alive and a tiny bit rich, so I was like, I'll just spend a bunch of money on stupid things, and that's what I did. I spent a lot of money on drinks, eating out. So yeah, it just depends like what kind of places you like to eat. Like for me, I feel like fancy places really never taste that great, so I just have like basic places that I like to go to. I'm not like looking for fine dining or anything because it's a fine dining, the food never really tastes that fine. When it comes to clothing, I don't know, I probably average like $200 a month. And that's mostly just because unrelated, like my body just keeps fluctuating, and so I have to keep on getting different clothes, and just, you know, I just get tired of my clothes. So yeah, I spend, I don't know, maybe $200 a month when it comes to shopping here. Clothes is like the same of what I would spend in California. It's like, it's not like clothing is really more here than the States. It's pretty much the same, and I order a lot of clothes as well. My cell phone is $88 a month. That includes my plan for AT&T, as well as the payment plan for my iPhone 13 Pro Max, you know, one of the more expensive phones. So $88 a month is what I am currently paying for my phone bill. So I do have a housekeeper. She charges $100 a week, but once you include like her vacations out of Puerto Rico and her getting sick, I would say she probably averages like 3 times a month. So I also split that with my roommate, so I'm spending about $150 a month when it comes to a housekeeper, and she is the best. She's currently gone, and I feel like I can barely live without her. Entertainment, I don't know, this varies so dramatically. I don't know, I would say when I think of entertainment, I think of like boating trips to Icacos and like Palomino and stuff, which I don't know, I maybe take a handful of those throughout the year, so I just included like $100. I guess entertainment would also include, I don't know, parking, things like that. So I would say between $100 and $200. Let's just go ahead and put it $200 when it comes to entertainment here in Puerto Rico. I mean, it just varies so dramatically, like on what you want to do, and there's a lot of different entertainment options. And so yeah, that's kind of the situation there. And then when it comes to a gym, wow, that can vary dramatically. But there's one thing for sure, it's the fact that I never want to really belong to a gym or have a gym membership ever again in my life. It's like, I love being outside. Like, how beautiful is it right now? The birds and the trees, and thank God no birds have attacked me yet, but I'd rather be outside and work out. Like, I have no desire to go to the gym, but when I did have a gym membership here, I was paying, I don't know, like $15 a month at Planet Fitness, but there's some fancy gyms you could go to and probably pay like $300 a month when it comes to that. And then, you know, but for my experience, when I went to Planet Fitness, it was $15 a month. So this basically included like personal expenses. This did not include obviously like business expenses. It doesn't include, you know, what it costs to file my taxes for my Act 20, 22 situations at the end of the year. These are just more like personal expenses on a monthly basis of what it's like to live in Puerto Rico, just to compare. Like if I was living, you know, the town that I'm from in the Central Valley of California, I would be paying probably the same. I mean, actually, yeah, the same, if not a tiny bit more. Like my health insurance would be way more, I think, if I was in California. My rent would be the same. You know, a lot of my expenses would be very, very similar, but in Puerto Rico, I get to live by the beach, and that's the thing. If I was looking at a location in California that was similar in terms of like weather, beach, like feeling like I'm on vacation every single day, I would be paying a lot more for that particular lifestyle, but I feel like my expenses are really low considering the quality of life that I have here. I live by the beach. I live in a place that feels like vacation every day. The weather is amazing. I get to spend a ton of time outside, just having fun, exercising, golfing, playing sports. So you can't really put a price tag on that. So I feel like I'm getting a massive, massive value with my life in Puerto Rico and the current expenses that I'm paying. So I hope you enjoyed this video on what it costs to live in Puerto Rico, specifically San Juan, Puerto Rico. That is all that I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.